All right, well, welcome back to module number 2. And I just got done from the gym, but there was some things that were coming into my mind that I felt like were important principles to reiterate from module 1. So I just jumped right into the recording studio and want to jump right into it. So before I actually get into leadership level number 3, let's just clarify a couple things. First of all, I know it's been a little bit confusing. I went back and listened about level 1 leadership, level 2 leadership, and then the levels are the scale that I've been using within each one of those leadership levels. So this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, would not be referring to leadership level number 1, level of leadership number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. This is within this particular one here. Now, when I was referring to this scale right here, the circle that gets bigger and bigger, that could be the same principle for the scale or for leadership level number 1 or leadership level number 2, which is permission. So either way, no matter how you look at that, but I think what I was referring to here was leadership level number 1, which is, what's number 1? It's position, where it's title, and then this is leadership level number 2, which is permission. So position, permission, and expanding that. Now, another thing that I wanted to make clear on leadership level number 2, that's going to get you to this higher income where you're not going to dip below $500 a week, and you're going to reside somewhere around $1,000 to $1,500 a week. As you're enrolling, let's go with black. So as you're enrolling, you're going to have some people who are duplicating in leadership level number 2, which is permission, and the higher you get up on the scale of 1 to 5 within this level of leadership, meaning you're progressing and gaining greater understanding, greater felicity of the principles that really make an effective leader in leader level number 2. Your abilities are improving, your insights are improving, the way you respond to things are improving rather than reacting and not knowing how to respond. All of those things are developing and you're improving them. And so as you're moving up that scale, you're going to have other people who are duplicating, like they're allowing you to train them. And so in that training process, they understand the value of getting to consultant on their own rather than just their results, bringing more customers to you as a level 1 where you have title. You're the associate, you're the Isagenix person and I'm not, right? Your customers are going to say, Dave knows how to tell you about this, I don't. So they're your customer and they're referring other customers to you. And that's at level leadership number 1 of position. But because I've gained some better leadership skills, I now have other people understanding through this training process the value of them getting to consultant and then growing their own business. So they're now inspired through a greater understanding that I've instilled into them as a level 2 leader. And so I'm progressing. I'm able to inspire other people to achieve higher in my business of Isagenix, which is now becoming their business of Isagenix. They're now the associate. They're now the Isagenix person, right? And so you're going to see some, absolutely, you're going to see some growing and some developing within your organization. And then as you continue to enroll, you're going to have duplication going on. Now, here's the thing that I want to get across. Although this is better, it's not best, but it is better, and you're making a greater income on a weekly basis, which for a lot of people, that would replace the income that they're making in their jobs. And so now they have freedom. They're developing a lifestyle where they're their own boss, and they have time freedom, and they have some financial freedom. That's a pretty good income, anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a week. So the thing that is going to hold somebody back here and why they would want to progress and jump out of level 2 and get to number 3 is they need to learn some things in greater depth. They need to gain a greater understanding. They need to increase their vision, their impact, And that happens at level 3 leadership and then goes on to progress from there. But I think at level 3 leadership, which is production, is that the person who's a leader at level 3, production level, has a greater commitment to the vision of that thing that they're doing. I remember, let me just point it out in a story that I heard, and I don't know if it was in this book or another book, but there was Sears and Roebuck. So I think Sears is still around in a lot of areas, the store Sears. And its height, it was the Walmart of its day. And there was a corporate office for Sears where a trainer was coming into the building, and he was riding the elevator with one of the executives from Sears, an up-and-coming and rising executive. So think about that as, you're a rock star in Isagenix, that up-and-coming rock star. There's a parallel here. So as this person who's not part of the Sears and Roebuck company, but is a trainer and insightful, and he's riding up the elevator with this up-and-coming rock star executive within Sears. And he says, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your religion? And the executive said, well, Sears and Roebuck is my religion. Okay, now I'm not saying that in a blasphemous way. What I want to do is point out something here and make a correlation with that. What the person is saying is that, and I'm going to, I hear that, and I'm going to flip that in the air to what I believe that means to help me progress, to help me expand my impact in the world. So the way that I flip that when I hear that story, and this is the way the story was intended in the book that I was reading, was that person sees a way to instill the values that are the most dearest to them. So in a faith-based, or not even just in a faith, in humanity, that would be serving your fellow men, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. If it's not right for that person, then it's not right for me to be doing those things, right? So I'd want to do unto others as I'd want them to do unto me. So as I take those values and I can see a way for me to facilitate those in what I'm doing in the business of life, my career, what am I doing from 9 to 5? If I can find a way to take those values and really exemplify them in what I do as a business, as a career, my 9 to 5. When I can find a way to facilitate those in what I do, that's putting my faith and my religion into action. And that's really what the gospel is all about, right? So when he says it's my business is my religion, what I'm hearing is I found a way to take what I hold most dear, my spirituality, my faith, and be able to instill that and facilitate that in what I get to do every day. I found a way to work that in. So the vision, this greater vision of eternity, let's say, I found a way to bring that down to a very low common denominator of what are my actions that I'm doing on a daily basis? And why am I doing those things? How am I doing those things? What motivates me to do those things? It's this bigger picture, this bigger vision. And it's that vision that will drive people, and it will maintain their enthusiasm. It will be consistent and their focus. There won't be any distractions. So what I would say at a level 2 leader, just because we're progressing in levels here, it's not that level 2 is an undesirable place to be, or that the people there are less than. It's just a matter of understanding certain things in a certain way. So a level 2 person, their focus and their commitment isn't going to be as great as somebody at a level 3, a level 4, and definitely level 5, right? Any of these upper levels above a 2, they're going to have a greater degree in understanding and depth to why they're doing what they're doing. There's a bigger motivator beyond the income that's coming in. It's the impact that it's making, and how does that impact fit into the bigger picture of eternity, who I am forever, right? Because that's really what faith is, and religion is that it's my philosophy on why am I here and where am I going, and does what I do is what I do here making an impact on who I am after I die, right? So putting my effort and my energy into something that is important as that. And at a level 3, level 4, level 5, they get that. They start to have this understanding, this philosophy that's driving them. And when you tap into that, you don't get distracted. You don't get off course. And at a level 2, you could get distraction. There are distractions. And so this business that is actually duplicating and it's thriving and it's growing and it's getting into these pretty decent incomes, there could still be distractions that take place. There could still be a sense of complacency at a level 2 and that kind of income that's not driving the person to be more than they currently are, to work to get to that, beyond a level 5 at level 2 permission. It's about getting to level 3 because what they connect and how they're connecting the dots together in their mind has a lot to do with eternity and who they are, not just now, but later in the hereafter. And so there's a much greater drive, a much greater focus, a much greater commitment to that personal excellence because it's about me expanding to that next level, level 3, and getting rid of my faults, getting rid of my inconsistencies when it comes to doing the things that are in harmony with a level 3, level 4, level 5 leader. And so they're determined and committed to excellence and to discovering how can I be better? How can I expand myself and then take me to this level 3 leadership, which is production. And so there's going to be a greater understanding. We're expanding. So at level 1, you're going to go out to you're going to have these walls that you're going to hit. But they're not permanent walls. They're walls that could be knocked down. In fact, walls are there meant to be knocked down and to expand and push ourselves outward and get to these greater places of, I'll just say for leadership, that leadership ability and that ability to inspire and to instill into others because I've instilled it into myself. You're not going to get to this outer expanded area by driving other people there. It has to be something that happens inside. As on the inside, so on the outside. So as I'm driving and pushing myself, look, I wrote this as 3 different arrows, but it's not really 3 different arrows. You're the same being that's expanding your consciousness and your awareness into these other principles. And it's these principles that I was starting to like ponder on as I was driving home from the gym, that I'm like, I need to get that across. And I just found a piece of paper in my glove box and I wrote down a few things that I just went over. There's another thing too, the bigger the circle, the more worthy the cause. So I'm understanding principles to a greater degree, and this book goes into the principles in depth. And as you're reading the principles, you'll be instilled with greater insight as you're being introduced to these principles. So if you look at everything, like if you look at this level 1, level 2, level 3, and how it's expanding, kind of think of it, I like to use different waves of vibrations, okay? And actually I should go like this. All right, so this would be the lower level of leadership where the vibration is lower. And as we move up the scale, or as we expand our awareness, we're starting to become aware of these higher vibrations. Like we can't see sound, but we know that sound can be measured in, I think it's hertz, right? And so we know that there are things that we're not able to perceive with our eyes. Well, there's some things that we're not able to perceive with our minds. And these are these higher vibrations. If I'm operating at a lower level vibration, I'm going to be ignorant to these higher levels of vibration. And what happens as I'm reading a book like this, some of the stuff may just go completely over my head because it's, let me get different color here, we'll go with red, because it's too big of a jump from where I'm at to up here. So I'm not really understanding what Dave's saying as he's going through some of this stuff, because the vibration's at a higher level. In fact, it's too high of a level for me to make that jump for my brain to get. But if I'll go and read the book and I'll do my due diligence and I'll ask questions and I'll continue to study and I'll continue to ponder and I'll write out my 3x5 cards and write it out with the law of assumption in mind, it's an already accomplished fact, and diagram that and blueprint that out, make those my I ams, I'll start to be introduced very quickly to the next vibration, the next vibration, the next vibration, the next vibration, and the next vibration. All of a sudden, you are now understanding that particular principle that you couldn't understand right here. That's progress. That's well, that's basically it. That's personal progress. That's personal development. So as you're investing the time in yourself to expand, to understand, it will come back a millionfold. A very respected businessman, civic leader, and religious leader, Sterling W. Sills, he said, a little investment in character and personality. So it's not just investment in the time and studying, it's taking those principles and putting my life in harmony with them. That's the investment in personality. My personality's changing because I see things differently, and so therefore I behave differently. When I was a child, I thought and acted as a child. But now that I'm a grown-up, I see things differently and I behave and act like a grown-up. So when it comes to these levels of leadership, it's no different. It's just that you have to proactively and personally decide that you're going to be motivated to search these things out on your own, because nobody can do your push-ups for you. Nobody can gather that stuff for you, internalize it, and then say, here you go, now it's yours. It's something that you have to do. And this is what's so awesome about this culture and this environment, is you have people that are willing to help you identify these higher principles, these higher vibrations, and not feel threatened by bringing you to that level. In fact, I would say that at a level 3, level 4, level 5, that's really what drives, maybe like up the scale in level 3, like getting to this level 4, level 5, just about ready to jump into level 4 leadership, which is people development. There's a lot of drive and passion and joy that comes from that type of leader, is helping people to identify these things. And they know that by helping other people to gain that awareness and that understanding is going to come back to the leader themselves. You can't give that kind of contribution and not have the law of compensation come back and bless your life. And there's the biggest payback that comes back is the joy that you receive, the peace that you receive. Money and things and recognition can't buy that. But as a high level 3, level 4, level 5 leader, that's where they're at. That's where they're residing, is in that place of the contribution that they're giving and the paychecks of the heart that come back. Now, in a business model like Isagenix, you help other people get to this level, man, that's where level 4, you're platinum, level 5, you're consistently maxing out center after center. So again, I want to go back to, although level 2 is a great place to be, I mean, $500 to $1,500 a week, that would buy freedom for a lot of people, but are you really satisfied there? And if you become complacent and you'll have distractions that pop up. Your vision isn't what's driving you. In fact, you could even lose all of this. It could go away. That $1,500 a week could go away because you're not continually expanding. And if you're not growing, you're dying. And what will happen is distractions will come in, or oscillations, where one week you're up and the next week you're down. 6 months you're up, but the next 4 months you're down. And there's this oscillation that happens in that area because the vision just isn't quite great enough to drive you to get to the next level, which is level 3. And so again, that's a personal philosophy. That's a personal understanding. I'm going to call this leadership module number 1, be. So that I'm not going to go into level 3 and level 4 here. I wanted to make these points to go back and really kind of reiterate some of the things as I went back and listened to it, some of the things that might have helped integrate a little bit more profoundly some of the principles that we covered in leadership level 1 and 2. But I think for those of you that have been in Isagenix for a while, you can see whether it's yourself or you've watched others, you can see where you kind of get in this stuck place. And level 2 leaders, they're still doing the work. However, the work, the income producing activities, because the insight and expectations haven't changed, they're right here. Because those haven't changed, the insightfulness, the awareness, the business isn't expanding. So it doesn't matter how much work you're doing here, physical work, until you change your internalization of things, then no amount of work's going to push your business past this. It's as on the inside, so on the outside. And again, that could get frustrating for some people, even though that's a great income. Again, they could get distracted. It's about greater insights that instill within us a greater vision. So I want to just finish up with this, is that in your 3x5 cards, your I am statements, your little vision board that you have on a 3x5 card, and you're writing in these insights that you're getting about the personality of these type of leaders. So again, we haven't really hit those. We just kind of touched the tip of the iceberg. You're going to go through. I'm not going to do your push-ups for you. I'm not going to go in and lay out all of those things that make up what are the personality traits of the high end of these different levels of leadership. You guys, that's got to come from you. You got to muster up the motivation yourself to do that. And somebody who's driven and can be inspired by what I'm saying right now to actually buy the book. I mean, I don't know how many of you are actually going to buy the book, or how many of you will just be complacent with just hearing and picking up what you can pick up here. That's going to be all over the place. I'm not going to decide that for anybody, but I'm not going to do your push-ups for you by going and identifying those different personality traits and telling you how to write them in on your 3x5 card and then start to assume those as an already accomplished fact. I want you to do that and apply that to who you are as an individual and what you have to offer and what insights the Spirit's giving to you so that you can make the difference, not in a cookie cutter stamped out way. Dave does it. Okay, I'm teaching you the principles. Now you get to govern yourself based on those principles. But I would say somebody who is starting to get these insights, starting to get inspired, here's the thing that happens. You start to gain momentum in going upward and outward in your awareness as you follow through with the being inspired to, I want to do that. I do want more. I do want to be more. I want to have more. I want to do more. So in this moment of inspiration, it's a make or break point for you whether or not you follow through with buying the book and seeing these personality traits. Because discovering those personality traits is what's going to drive your vision bigger and bigger to where you become level 4 people development, level 3 production, and then the pinnacle. It's those insights that you get as you're searching, and then you're now writing those new insights into your 3x5 card. And now you're starting to assume that as an already accomplished fact. Not a goal you're trying to reach or a goal that you're looking at, but that you're looking from that goal. You're being that goal. You've already not just embraced, but it's not coming to my mind right now. You've already taken that, again, as an already accomplished fact. You are that person that's on that 3x5 card. And so as you do that and you identify those things, what starts to happen is you're connecting dots that you wouldn't have connected otherwise that lead you up this scale that then start to give you a bigger vision and impact. That happens. And without doing that, that impact won't be instilled into you. Okay, so you've got to do your own push-ups. But this is designed, these modules, as a way of inspiring you to say, okay, I want that. I want to be that. And I'm starting to identify, okay, if I get that book and I act on that and I do that, I follow through with that, here's what the payoff may be. And you exercise a sense of hope, a sense of faith. And then that faith gets you to act. And as you follow through with that, you start to get these insights, you put them down on your 3x5 card, you start to assume them as already accomplished fact, and your reality starts to mold around that. It starts to become that. So that's what I'm going to cover here. I just really feel impressed with the things that are, that are coming to me, and that the things that I've learned and the things that are being portrayed here as a huge game changer for you, and not just for you, but for the world at large. The ripple effect that can be created by this. So I just want to say that I really feel moved right now with the information, and hoping that it will instill into you a sense of inspiration, that you'll start to do the work and follow through with it. So with that, I'm going to end there, and we'll see you in module number 2, because this is module number 1B. All right, thanks you guys.